Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Yes She Can Project podcast. I am so happy today to finally be joined by Victoria Stokes. Hello, Victoria.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We've been trying to plan it for a long time, haven't
We
we?
have, yes, we finally got here.
I know. So, for anybody who maybe hasn't come across you before, could you just give me a quick intro into who you are and what amazing work you do, please?
Yes, so I am Victoria Stokes and I am best known on Instagram as at the Wellness Copywriter. And as the name suggests, I am a copywriter for the health and wellness industry. And what that basically means is I write website copy and email copy for health and wellness professionals. So we're talking about personal trainers, therapists, nutritionists, dietitians, anyone who has a real mission to help people live healthier, happier lives. And I'm the person who steps in and makes their brand look brilliant.
Oh, that's a cool intro. I love that.
Ah,
Um,
thank you.
so we initially connected, Victoria, because you had done a journalism piece, written a journalism piece, sorry, that I was featured in, which was incredible. And we kind of had a chat, and then all of a sudden, like it's almost like I turned my back, and then you're just like you've just gone in a completely different direction. Could you could
Yeah.
you could you tell me a bit about like how you got into journalism first of all to begin with?
Yeah. So I kind of always knew I wanted to be a journalist, and I think it kind of started when I was 13. Like English
Oh,
was the subject in school that I just absolutely loved. And I had a teacher, my English teacher, she said to me one day, oh, you're going to write for Cosmopolitan someday. And for some reason, that just always stuck with me. And from about 13, that was just my goal in life. I was going to grow up, I was going to be a journalist, and I was going to work in women's magazines. And I was very fortunate to be able to make that a reality. It's a very competitive
yeah.
industry, and it's only getting more and more competitive. But I got my big break into journalism whenever I lived in Australia for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
I did
and
not know that.
yeah, I started working for, it was actually an internship for Cosmopolitan Australia's feature director,
Wow.
who had started her own lifestyle website. So I started working with her, and that was really the beginning of everything for me. And after I worked on that publication, I moved back home and I ended up working at a wonderful magazine called Stellar Magazine in Dublin.
Okay.
And yeah, I like packed up my life in rural Northern Ireland and moved all the way down to Dublin on my own. Didn't know anyone in the city at all, and started an internship in the magazine. And yeah, it was the stuff dreams were made of, really. And within a short amount of time, I have moved up the ranks. I became digital editor of their website, and then
Wow.
later deputy editor after that. So it was just such a cool job. Like I've had so many funny experiences. I've met and interviewed Jedward, which
Have you?
sounds, yes, I have some really funny photos that we took at like an awards day one
Oh,
time. Yeah.
are they nice?
Um, they are lovely. They're like they are as fun and as crazy as you would imagine them to be. And like every year on Instagram, the pictures I took with them at that award ceremony pops up, and I have to share them every year because they just make
Oh,
me laugh so much. But yeah, like working in the magazines gave me just just so much personally. It
oh,
was really like a dream fulfilled. And it just taught me so much from a copywriting perspective as well. And
yeah.
I feel really fortunate that I got to achieve that and to kind of have this full circle moment where I was 13 and dreaming of being a writer, and then to actually get to that point where I was a deputy editor of a magazine, like it really did feel like the pinnacle of my career at that point.
Oh, bless. I bet you wanted to find your old teacher and let her know that you did it.
Well, actually, funny story. Whenever I first got the deputy editor job, she was one of the first people I thought of. And I got in touch with my school and actually asked, was she still there? And it turned out she had moved to another school, but they let me know where. And I actually sent her the first copy that we produced when I was
Oh,
deputy editor. I sent her a copy and I wrote her a letter and just said, your words of encouragement always stuck with me. And you said, one day I was going to go on and have a career in magazines. And I just wanted to let you know I'm being deputy editor of this one now and enjoy the issue.
oh my goodness, that is so
Yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah. It was lovely. It was lovely to be able to do.
You know when you have like dreams like that and then you excuse me, you get to a point where you have achieved them. What happens then in your brain to go, kind of now what? I bet that's a difficult thing to question, because we always feel like we're striving for, okay, we need to get there. But if you've done that
Yeah.
already, what happened next?
Yeah, I think it's a case of pivoting. And for me, it actually ended up being kind of a forced pivot because after I left that wonderful job in Stellar magazine, I went on to work at another magazine and unfortunately found myself in a really toxic working environment. Yeah, and just in an environment where, it was starting to take my mental health, and a decision had to be made about whether I was going to stay in this environment that was really detrimental to me or whether I was going to leave. And eventually it came to a point where I was like, I can't go back into this environment. And I took the decision to quit on a Friday afternoon and
Yeah.
started my copywriting business on the Monday afterwards.
Yay.
So yes, it was a pretty quick turnaround, and it was very much a case of this is sink or swim. This
Yeah.
this has to work. Yeah.
Because you do write a lot. Like if you look historically about your articles, you do have a big focus on the importance of mental health because it's
Yeah.
intertwined with the health and wellness, isn't it? Really, as a big part.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always been a common theme within my writing. Like even when I was working at magazines, you write about loads of topics. You write about
Mhm.
celebrity, you write about finances, and then you have all the health and wellness topics thrown in there as well. But even when I was writing about those topics that weren't strictly health and wellness, there was always a mental health slant
Of course, yeah.
in there, and my tone of voice has always lent itself to empathy and compassion.
Yes.
And I think that ties in really well with the health and wellness content as well. Yeah.
Definitely. Is that the reason, would you say, that you kind of chose to go down the path of health and wellness because it was something you were passionate about already?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a combination of the fact that I am very, very into health and wellness. I've always done a lot of things to look after my own mental health. I
Mhm.
have an interest in psychology and self-help. I'm big into the gym and I love nutrition. And I just have a deep personal interest in all of those
Yeah,
things. But then it's also that's my natural tone of voice as well. So it makes it
definitely.
easier for me to write that style of content than for other people.
Yeah, 100%. Because you can tell totally whenever you read anything that you've done that it's yours, if that makes
Thank
sense.
you.
Like you can hear your tone of voice coming through. You can hear that empathy that you talked about as well. Do you think that's
Thank
what kind
you.
of prompted you to go down this road because you know how important it is for businesses in particular to convey that tone, their own tone of voice?
Yes, absolutely. Like I think especially with health and wellness, like your tone of voice is so, so important because people aren't investing in a product, they're investing in you. I mean, if you're a therapist or even like a personal trainer, like someone's going to be working very, very closely with you.
Yeah.
So they need to feel almost like they know you and that they can relate
Yeah.
to you and that they can trust you. And the way you're going to do that is through your tone of voice and by showing that you are an empathetic and compassionate and just dead on nice
Yeah.
person. That's going to shine through whenever you get your tone of voice right.
Yeah, definitely. Do you like, what kind of services do you offer in your copywriting business? Do you like maybe coach people in a way to learn their own tone of voice, or do you kind of listen to what they've got to say and then take that and come back with some amazing work for them to then send out themselves?
Yeah. Yeah, so I have a couple of different options. So I have a done for you, which is, as the name suggests, you know, write your website copy and write your monthly email campaigns for you. And then you have a done with you option. And the done with you option is called Content Clinic. And the way that works is people would write the content and then they would send it to me. And then I'm going through that. I'm editing it, I'm optimizing it, and then I'm giving them a full breakdown at the end
Yeah.
of, you know, this was really great and here's areas for improvement. So it kind of combines, you know, content creation and coaching. And it
Yeah.
means at the end, you know, people are able to improve a little bit every week to the
Hmm.
point where they're getting somewhere where they're like, okay, you know, I really understand what my tone of voice is now. I really understand how to create this content really well. And it's about getting them to the point where they don't actually need me anymore. You know, they can go away and they can create that content themselves. And then the third option is I offer a course as well, which is an email course, and that's about helping people to write emails that actually attract their clients into their business, but
Okay.
also about learning some of the like copywriting strategies that copywriters would actually use in their content.
Oh, amazing. Do
Yeah.
you, sorry, excuse me. Can you think of, I know that it's kind of been quite a whirlwind for you, Victoria, hasn't it, since you started? You almost like hit the ground running and just kind of kept running. I mean, I've seen like you've been fully booked some months, and it's just gone from strength to strength for you. Like,
Yeah.
can you, looking back on the roller coasterness of it, can you think of like any standout moments where you've kind of sat back and really seen the impact of your work?
Yeah, I think there's definitely two things that have been really great for me on this journey. And the first is whenever my clients get really good results, that just makes me so happy. Like
Oh,
whenever I get messages saying, oh, you know, I booked out this month, or oh, I signed a really dream client this month, or even just when people say, I'm getting such lovely feedback on the email I sent this week, that makes me really, really really, really happy. From a personal perspective, I think probably the highlight for me has been launching my course,
right.
because I never ever saw myself doing something like that. I always thought launching a course and having like a digital product arm to my business was something you could only do when you had a massive audience. You know, I'm looking out at people and they have 20,000, 30,000, like 600,000 followers, and they're launching digital products. And I'm there with my relatively small account thinking that's not something I can do.
Okay.
Um, and when I launched it and it actually did really, really well, I was so happy.
Oh,
I just couldn't
congratulations.
believe it. And it was such a nice feeling too, because obviously when you work one to one to people with people, there's a limit to how much you can do because you only
Of
have a certain
course.
amount of time. And especially with something creative, I prefer to work with a smaller number of clients
Yeah,
to keep the creativity and the quality of the work high. But being able to bring out this email course means that I can help a lot more people. There's a
definitely.
lot more health and wellness business owners who, you know, maybe aren't in a position just yet to actually outsource their content. But they can do this course and they can make a start and they can start learning
Mhm.
the strategies that they need to put in place. And yeah, it's just really nice to have that there. It's another way to support people.
Amazing. You should do like a group coaching program as well.
Yeah, I would actually love to do that in the future. I have about 50 ideas in my head for things, and they haven't made it past the notebook yet, but they will
Okay.
eventually.
You are good at bringing words to life, so they need to make it out the notebook, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
So as much as you've enjoyed such a whirlwind time, has there been what's like been the biggest challenge for you during this time?
Yeah, I think like it's probably somewhat ironic, but for me, finding my own voice has been the toughest part in all of this, particularly for social media, because I've always felt a lot more comfortable with long form content.
Okay.
If I were to sit down and write an article, like a long form article or a blog or an email, I will fly. The words will just flow out onto the page. But with social media, with my own social media, I find it very difficult to get my own voice and to not be influenced by
Okay.
everybody else.
Yeah.
I think social media it can be so overwhelming, and there's so
Mm.
many voices out there, and it's difficult not to lose yourself in the
Yeah.
crowd. And I think there's such a struggle to be heard that you're always trying to almost change your voice a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
you're
I
trying to get your hook, and then you're
mm,
writing stuff that maybe doesn't feel like you. And that has been a real challenge for me. And as you know, I've sort of rebranded recently, and I have, started a new Instagram account and changed the kind of audience I'm attracting into
yeah.
that account. And that's really helped me to fine tune my voice and to actually just tap into the natural voice I have, because I was trying to change
Yeah.
it too much before. And now I feel like it's much clearer.
Or you.
Yeah, it's much more me, and it definitely speaks to something I say to clients all the time, and that is to just speak to the people you want to speak to. Like, stop trying to speak to absolutely everyone, because I think we all do that to an extent.
Definitely. Yeah.
We try and speak to everyone because we think, oh, we don't want to leave anyone out, but
Mhm.
that's actually a mistake. It's better to speak much more specifically and clearly to a small niche of people, and
Definitely.
it just makes your voice all the stronger then.
Yeah, 100%. It can feel scary though, can't it? Because you feel like you're kind of lessening your pool of
Yeah,
potential clients if you speak to just a certain sector or a certain niche. It can be scary.
yeah, definitely. Like, you think you're alienating people, but it just means that the people who actually need to hear your message, like, it's just
Yeah.
going to resonate so much more deeply with them.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And I think the importance of kind of being authentic as well, because like you said before, the brands that you work with, you're trying to help them to build trust with the people that they're talking to. So
Yeah,
we need to do the same for ourselves, don't we? And
yes, absolutely.
if we come across as somebody that we are not, then when they work with us, they'll be like, well, who the hell is this person?
Yeah, exactly. And like, it sounds so cheesy every time I say this, but like, you really do have to be like your authentic self.
Yeah,
And whenever you just let yourself write in a way that feels like you, like, it comes across so much more authentic and so much more personable as well.
yeah, definitely. So you've talked a bit about Victoria, about the services that you offer. Like,
Mhm.
what kind of person specifically right now that's maybe listening to this, how would they know that it's you that they need?
Oh, God. Good
That was a
question.
bit Dragon's Den-ish, actually, wasn't it?
I think if you have a website at the minute, and you have social media, and you have an email list, and you are using these things, but they aren't really doing anything for you. People are landing on your website and they're leaving. People are reading your emails, but then they're not doing anything after that. And the same with the social media. You know, if you're creating all this content and it's not bringing in clients into your business, then there's definitely a messaging problem there. There's something in your copy that isn't giving people that feeling of, I need this and I need it now. And that's where I step in and help.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that completely, because I feel like you were speaking to me.
I love that.
So it works. It definitely works. So what's been your biggest pinch me moment so far? It doesn't have to be just in your copywriting, but like of your life, aside from me and Jedward, obviously.
I met Colin Farrell too, actually.
Did you?
Yes. Yes, I had to ask him dating questions on a red
Really?
carpet once. Yeah. Yes, it was very, very cringy, but yeah, standout moment. Pinched me moment. Honestly, I feel like every day is a little bit of a pinch me moment.
Oh,
I just, I'm going to sound really, really cringy again, but
no, you're
I
not.
just, I can't believe I get to do this for a living some days. And like, yes, when you're self-employed, there are really, really hard days in your business,
Yeah.
but sometimes I just sit back and I think, I am actually writing for a living, and 13-year-old me would literally be like jumping for joy right now if she knew that was what I was doing. And like every time I sign a new client or I get nice feedback from a client, like it's a proper pinch me moment for me, and it makes me very happy.
Oh, Victoria, you're so lovely.
Cute.
So what's coming up next for you? Like what have you got in the pipeline?
Yeah, so really the big picture for the next while is I would love to build out a coffee shop. So I would love to extend my offer of digital products. So at the moment, I already have the emails to earnings course, but like the big picture goal is that I would love to have a full shop of copywriting resources for business owners, you know, things to help them write their about page and their homepage and their website, things to help them, you know, write their own emails and to figure out their captions and all of that kind of stuff. I would just be so thrilled to get that off the ground.
So we need that out of the notebook and into real life.
Yes, out of the notebook, yeah. And I'm also working on some templates. I am going to release a resource of 50 plug and play email templates.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I know it can be so difficult for people to sit down and actually know what to send to their mailing list.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get over that what to send list, it's like, okay, well, how the hell do I actually write it? How do I structure this email? So that is what the templates are going to be there for, just to help people get over those initial blocks and actually get
Yeah.
writing and get emails out to their list.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds brilliant. You should also
Yeah.
do a mini course about how to not, when somebody unsubscribes, how for it to not feel so personal, because it hurts,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it does hurt. And like I say it to people all the time, like, you know, if people unsubscribe from your list, it's actually a really, really good thing. Like you want a good, clean list. You only want engaged subscribers on there.
Mhm.
But at the same time, when I get an unsubscribe, I'm like, oh, what did I say? What did I
Yeah.
do wrong?
But then
So
you
I
can't email them again to ask why, can you?
like, please tell me what I did wrong.
Oh, it's difficult. I think that's a difficulty, isn't it, working for yourself, because it's hard not to take things personally, isn't it?
It is absolutely, yeah. And definitely like if you have a small audience, it feels all the more personal. Like if you worked so hard to get those subscribers on your list and then
Yeah.
somebody unsubscribes, it does almost feel like a personal insult,
Yeah.
but it's
Like a
not.
slap in the face,
Just
isn't it?
it's just not what they're looking for right now,
Yeah.
and you don't need to take it as a personal insult because there's something in your content that is speaking to the right people, and you just
Yeah.
need to keep creating the content for them.
Yeah. Perfect. So how can people find out more about you, Victoria? Where can they find all your wonderful things and your course, obviously, as well?
Yeah, so the best place to find me right now is on my shiny new Instagram account, which is at the Wellness Copywriter, and there's links to everything you need on there. There's actually a lovely freebie on there. It is 100 email hooks that you can use to get new clients. So it's a great starting point if you don't know what to send to your list, or even if you're just stuck for content ideas generally, like if you don't even know what to post on social media, they can really help get those creative juices flowing. But yeah, all of that and my website and everything is all on the Wellness Copywriter Instagram.
Fabulous. Well, I absolutely cannot wait to see what happens next for you, Victoria. It's just been such a upward trajectory over the past year and a bit, hasn't it? It's gone mental.
Yeah, it really has.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. And I will put all of your links in the show notes
Yeah.
below. And yes, everybody go and check out Victoria. Not only is she incredibly talented, she can work wonders for your business too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.